All right, everybody, welcome to Netflix Weekly. I am your whore-loving host, Rob.
I thought we were over that. I thought we were over this,
I
Rob.
will never let the whores down. I'm here for the whores forever.
What's the pin look like?
Honk if you're a whore is what I'm gonna get.
And two women scissoring.
That's just what I need with feminism. That's what I'll
look. It's gay pride. It's great.
It's gay pride. I'm celebrating women. I'm celebrating feminism by having two scissoring whores on my shirt. And with me, as always, is Phil. We got a little sidetrack there. Say hello, Phil.
Can we just say I'm someone else at this point?
We'll never give your. You know what? Just use editing to put on some fucking hat and a mustache or something.
So I want to kick off by telling people I'm sorry. We're both sorry that we were away last week.
Oh,
we had medical problems.
Oh Christ, we have medical problems.
Or aliens.
And I went and got tattooed and all sorts of shit. So that was fun.
Show your tattoo.
I can't. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. I don't show my tattoos for money. I'm not some common.
Who's giving you money? Like, come on now. Not until we get Patreon.
Subscribe to our Patreon to see my tattoos.
Eventually we'll have one, I guarantee you. But we're sorry. Yeah, we actually postponed again yesterday because I have my hernia issues. So
bummer. But on a good note, it let me get caught up on this Tribes of Europa show.
Oh, that's what we're gonna get into. Okay, the next point is we have a Reddit. If anyone is interested in talking with us, talking to us, go to our Reddit. It's r/Netflix Weekly.
We've got one person in there already that's talking to us, and so we feel very loved. So whoever that person is, I don't like to say
it's not my mom.
It's not your mom. Yeah, it's not none of my family either.
I didn't even know there was someone in there.
Yeah, until we saw it, and the person was like, "Oh, I know you." And as soon as someone says, "Oh, I know you," I'm like, "Oh shit, this isn't gonna go well." But
it's the recycling guy, isn't it?
You see that their name, is like Recycling Person 101.
Yeah, you have that big issue with them. I'm self-learning Adobe Premiere. So as we go through with the show week by week, there'll be some changes that happen. It's just, I'm learning, it's fun. And then the other thing is I have a new desk and Rob has a new ring light or some kind of light.
Here, check it out. You can see a huge difference too. Watch, I've got it on. Now it's off. So now I look like a regular person with no tan, and now look, I'm super white. Did you turn yours to black and white?
No, it just went that way for some reason, probably the color corrector. And then if I turn it on, I'm happy again.
It like flashes lights like there's a nuclear explosion and this is what you look like if you're dead.
Yeah, well, this is how I am dead.
It's true. If you just pause the camera for long enough, it'll just show me his corpse.
We can go straight into honorable mentions. Woo! Do you have any?
I do. I have a shit ton of them. So I watched a terrible fucking movie that has such a good goddamn premise. It's called Spontaneous. And it's about, here's the premise, all right? It's a bunch of fucking teenagers in high school on this, like, it's almost the last day of school. They start exploding. So spontaneously combusting for no reason.
That sounds great.
Like blood and gore and bullshit all over the place. And I'm like, this is the fucking movie for me. So I start
watching
this movie. Yeah. And when you see a movie like this, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be balls to the wall, fucking awesome. It starts turning into like your feelings and never be afraid to be who you want to be. And I'm like, oh God, like it's all about be tough and, you know, live every day, live every moment like it's your last, because it might be your last. I'm like, fuck this. It wasted such a fucking cool premise.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, and I'd recommend watching it just to see how badly they wasted this premise.
Though, when you do this type of idea with, what was that movie with, they were zombies?
There's been a lot of zombie movies.
It's like a zombie youth drama, a teen drama.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about.
Hearts, open hearts.
It's like
I know it has hearts in the title. It's got Rob Cordroy's in it.
It's not. It's a like mutual. No, mortal. No, mortal.
I'm pretty sure I know the one you're talking about. Where it's like he's a zombie and he falls in love with a live girl, right?
or the other way around. I don't know, but it's a really good one. It's like you get that premise and you're like, okay, it's on me, yay. And they actually made it into a teen drama and it worked. It was a good movie.
No, not
Whereas
spontaneous.
spontaneous, that sounds like a great
No,
idea.
it is, and that's, I think what I was looking for was like take kids exploding in high school and make it like Mean Girls or Heathers or fucking like something with a bit more teeth, because it's such a cool premise that you fuck it up completely by making it this watered down teen love story. And I was like, this fucking blows. And for the rest of the movie, when someone would explode, that was funny. But for the rest of it, I was like, all right, I'm checking out. I'm zoning out. I'm digging. I've watched the first season before, but I had to rewatch it again because I want to watch the second and finally the third and last season, the Lost in Space reboot on Netflix. It's not that bad. It's not great. It's certainly better than the fucking. I never watched the '60s version. I only know what everybody else knows in the Danger, Will Robinson, Danger, the fucking robot, and Dr. Smith, and all those people. But the Lost in Space reboot on Netflix is pretty good.
Oh, I
I'm
loved
enjoying
it.
it so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see another season.
Yeah, the third season that's coming up, that's going to be the last season. Apparently, it's the final one. I've been watching Fargo, season 4 of Fargo with Chris Rock, which is hard to see Chris Rock as a dramatic guy. He's a fine actor and he's a fine dramatic actor, but it's just no, Jesus, knowing that like he's the SNL guy and he was always in these comedies. You're kind of like it's a bit of a shift to see him in that role, but so far it's been okay. I read a couple reviews of it, and I totally agree with them. It doesn't feel like the original season 1 to 3 of Fargo. They had a bit more of the Fargo movie feel. They took themselves a bit less seriously than this one does. This one, it's very it goes goofy when it shouldn't and is dead serious when it shouldn't be. It's more Miller's Cross. If you're comparing it to Coen Brothers movies, it's more Miller's Crossing and less Fargo. So if anybody's seen Miller's Crossing, they should totally understand that.
And back to the
Lost Space,
before that, more
Spontaneous,
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies. That's what it was called. I knew it had something with. I thought it was hearts, but yep, that's right. Warm
I was
Bodies.
thinking Mortal Wounds for some reason, and I don't think that's even a thing.
There was that. Remember that 14-hour movie, Mortal Engines, where apparently the books, she's supposed to have like this huge fucking scar on her face, and then when they take her mask off in the movie, it's like a little cut down her forehead. I'm like, ooh, God, no one's gonna love her with a little cut on her fucking forehead.
She's female Harry Potter. That's great.
Right. The other thing we're watching, and I don't know how. I wish so. I have a friend of mine. I'm going to give him a shout out because he'll never listen to this. His name's Adrian. Him and his husband
Adrian.
Brad. Go Adrian.
And Brad.
Him and his husband Brad. They've been, well, specifically Adrian, because I worked with Adrian for a long while, and him and I have been friends ever since he left where I work now. But
can I interrupt? I'm not, yep. I know I'm asking it while doing it, but do you think Adrian would love one of those scissoring pins?
Yeah, exactly. He'd like horror power on his. I'm sure the next gay pride parade that he goes to, he'll love it. He's like, look, there's girls on me.
Now you have to get him to watch so that he can defriend you.
Also, I wonder if it's going to surprise anybody to know that Adrian and his husband are gay. So that might surprise you. But he recommended me to watch to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and I was like, I don't know. When I get around to it, holy shit, dude! I started watching RuPaul's Drag Race. It is one of the fucking best things I think I've ever watched, because the confidence of drag queens is fucking inspiring. Like if you have confidence issues, I'm a huge narcissistic asshole, so I've never really had problems with confidence. But my wife, she's always kind of down on herself. She has problems with confidence, and I never want to see my sons, because like for all of us, for our kids, you never want to see your kids being down on themselves. The confidence that these women fucking exude, it's impossible not to get wrapped up in it. And both my boys have been watching it with us, and they're asking questions like, what is drag? And they don't get it. And is it gay, or like what's going on? And it's great because it creates this environment of there's no wrong questions. You don't need to feel, there's no stupid questions. And if you don't know something, it's totally okay. Anything you want to be in the world is okay. It's such an awesome show to watch simply from a boosting your own confidence perspective. I'd recommend it to fucking anybody. And I know it's got 19 fucking seasons, and I'm on the first. And I'm texting Adrian. I'm like, holy shit, dude, why the fuck didn't I start this earlier? It's like, I fucking told you to start it earlier. So I've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, I saw just a video of the time that Lady Gaga was on it, and how empowering she was towards them in terms of like going through each and every one of them and showing that she was paying attention to their individual traits.
Yep. So it's great. And again, man, like from a confidence perspective, it'll, I can't imagine walking away from each show not feeling like $1 million. So I always, anybody that has confidence issues, dude, fucking watch RuPaul's Drag Race. I'd be surprised if you're not feeling great afterwards.
And they still haven't cast me.
Right? Can you believe it? Like, just look at this hair that I'm fucking growing, and you're telling me that I can run it as a fucking drag queen? Exactly. You know what? It'd be easier to put wigs on you. There's this one little dude in the first season, Angina. Angina. So he's got the bucket, and there was a Rebecca Glasscock, so she was great too. But little nice. Angina, he's always wearing like. Remember
that?
Did you ever watch Oz? Remember Oz? There was a black dude out of BC, and he never knew how to fuck his hat stayed on his head. All right, so
I had Oz, a stigma with Oz because it often played instead of something else I wanted to watch at the time, or it preempted my things, and I was just like, I want to watch wrestling.
I fucking loved Oz because this dude out of BC, he had a little hat, and you have no idea how the fuck it stayed on his head. I figure it must have been Velcroed on sometimes because you get into fucking fights and this hat wouldn't come up. Little Angina does that where she'll wear like a little hat right here, and I'm like, how the fuck is that hat staying on her head? And I found out that she has like see-through, and girls know what they are. I don't know. No, the little, like, you know how little girls wear those headbands that like keep their hair back? It's that, but it's super microscopic, and it just like fits like right there on your head. It's like a little band that goes over. It's like a little hair, whatever those things are, hair bands. But either way, RuPaul's Drag Race, great show. And then finally, it only took Phil like 4 or 5 weeks of telling me to watch it. I finally got around to watching WandaVision.
I'm like, you're at my house or something? What's going on?
I'm watching through the window.
You're watching currently, but not done.
Oh, the show. Yes. I thought you were talking about watching through your window. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to be watching through your window when I'm right here? And I'm trying to come up with some sarcastic comment for it. But yeah, I'm up to, we just finished show, I think 4 or 5, where Vision has kind of pushed out a little bit. He's telling her she's got to be, or he's telling the sword team she's got to be stopped. She's got to be stopped.
No, yeah.
I'm really enjoying the show. But there are 2 things about it I don't like. So I'm going to bitch. Oh, you know what? I'll save it. And I'll bitch about them next week when we're talking about WandaVision.
Okay. Yeah, that's the plan.
So those are my honorary mentions. What are yours?
I will be quick. You already talked WandaVision. Everyone should watch it, especially since next week we're going to do a big feature review about it. Even though it's not on Netflix, it's our show. Who cares? I binged watched 6 episodes of Ghost Nation. And I love the show. It's one of those ghost hunting shows. Like, it's the Are you trying
to be a ghost?
The spin-off, I guess, of Ghost Hunters. And I love watching it.
Oh, wait. Could you call it the shriekquel to Ghost Hunters?
It's just awful. I love watching it, but like, you come off of watching 6 episodes and there's hardly anything to go off of. So you kind of have to just like, it's kind of like, okay, it's not as bad as Expedition Bigfoot where you can tell it's staged and they're like, oh, I fell. Oh my goodness.
No way this show about ghosts could be staged.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Have you watched Monster Hunter?
I have not. It's in my library, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's fun. I'm not going to go for a full review. It's fun. Just leave it at that. Just go into it going, I'm just gonna have fun watching this.
I watched recently. I got the 4K copy of Fifth Element, and I'm watching it. My sons thought, "Oh man, this movie's cool."
Oh,
And
so
then,
good.
well, then I see like oh god, what the fuck's her name? I always forget her name. I always just call her.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about? Resident
Yeah.
Evil. I always call her not Claire, not Jill. Which one is she? Is she Jill? No, she's not Claire. I can't remember. Girl from Resident Evil. That girl she's so unfairly attractive, and she's not like sexy attractive. She's just a wonderfully attractive girl.
Jovovich.
Volvovich, that's what it is. Mila Jovovich.
That's it.
She's a gorgeous girl. So it's hard to take your eyes off her. And Fifth Element is such a fucking great movie, man. So I was having a ball watching that, and I was like, oh yeah, now I can watch her 20 years later in or more than that, like 30 years later in
Monster Hunter, which will be fun to watch with your family, but not on your own. You'll love picking out things about that one. Have you watched the new Superman and Lois Lane?
No.
Or Superman and Lois, whatever it's called. It's good. They
I don't know, man. DC has fucking burned me a lot. Okay. I have a hard time going towards anything DC.
Do you like The Flash? The one on CW.
It's all right. Yeah.
Okay. This is better. This is shot like a movie.
But is it starring the guy who was in, I think, the Supergirl, like that kind of skinnier Superman guy?
No, this is yes. The one that was in the parallel universes one. Yeah, when they introduced Superman and Lois in that, it's them and then their two sons that are twins.
Okay.
Which is a new thing. They decided to just throw in there because once the worlds collided, you know that one what I'm talking about, all the different universes collided. Okay, so during the Flash stuff,
it begs the question: how does Superman ejaculate into Lois Lane and not blow the back end of her body out?
Very carefully. He has very good control. He's been practicing.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, Superman and Lois is worth watching. I suggest you watch the pilot and see if you like it. And I'm enjoying the FCFL. That's the
FCFL,
fan-controlled football league.
Okay.
It's arena football, and where they have like almost everything is controlled by fans and voted upon. So even while the game is on, you are voting on which plays they do.
Shit.
Yeah.
Any hot women, or is it all dudes playing?
They're gonna have cheerleaders soon, but empowerment, dude.
Hey, I'll be controlling those cheerleaders. I'll be all about it. I want them half drag and then half women dressed like whores,
and then some men on the side
together,
so that everyone.
Oh, the men of the football players.
Oh, that's true. Why can't we have some women football players on there?
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. Anyway, I'm done my honorable mentions.
All right. So we're done honorable mentions. Let's get to a show that I finally watched all 6 shows. So I had a ton to watch over like the past 2 weeks. But it's the show Tribes of Europa.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot that happens in this fucking show. So I'm not gonna run through everything. I'm just gonna run through some specific stuff that I picked up on.
Can I do the first point of the movie and what it is?
Yep, absolutely.
How they describe it. It's 2029. A mysterious global blackout led to decades of chaos and anarchy. Old nations disappeared and microstates emerged, developing their own beliefs and cultural identities. These are tribes
of Europa. Oh, yeah. It doesn't say Tribes of Europa.
It just says these are tribes, yeah. Because they're explaining what the tribes are.
All right.
These are tribes.
So the show,
and Europa, by the way, is just a section. It's like a continent.
Yeah, exactly. Arguably, so there was Pangea, and then Pangea broke into all the fucking different continents, and then I guess all joined back together again, and that's what Europa is.
Well, isn't the idea that it's like what 2029?
See, that makes no 2029. 2029 is when the Black December occurred. Yeah. The show takes place in 2079. Because it's 50 years after the Black December.
Then things wouldn't move. It would just be the same landmass if it's Earth. which sounds like it is because it's Europa part of Earth, which
And
my
they
guess.
talk about the cities that used to
Yeah,
exist.
yeah. They go, are you British? Are you? Yeah.
And that's where one of my, so once I get to the end, I'll explain. That's where one of my biggest issues with the show came from. But so the show opens, and immediately, man, as soon as the show opens like this, it annoys me. So I'm annoyed right out of the fucking gate. Is I'm glad. So they're called the Origines. You've got these guys that they're like fucking Ewoks. They live in the forest and they build huts and they fucking live off the land.
Ewoks,
And
but human.
all the women, gorgeous. They're all wearing makeup. They all have perfectly coiffed hair. All the guys, gorgeous. They all have nice muscles. They're wearing shirts to fucking show off their muscles and shit.
Well, that's because they have to survive in the wilderness. They have to hunt.
We've all seen the fucking Revenant. We know what people look like when they're living in the fucking wilderness for a few years.
They look like Bigfoot,
So
and then I find them.
like, and then you have a ghost go, woo, bye. But yeah, that annoys me right out of the gate. I hate when you're watching a show where these women have been in the wilderness or these women have been fucking trapped at sea for whatever, and they're all perfectly make-up. For me, that always fucking takes me out of it every single time. That's why I love shows where the women look just, terrible. Like, and I'm not saying just the women, but the people look terrible. There's no makeup. They just look fucking flat. Like they look terrible when they're supposed to look terrible. To me, that always adds a huge element of reality to it. And a show like this definitely needs that fucking reality. I was also happy to see that they still have jean shirts in the future because all these people look like they had just walked out of a fucking denim catalog for Sears in the 1990s. But it's a bummer that it looks like the barbers died because everybody, like this guy Keanu, has like a bit of his hair is cut off, and then he's got like a fucking braid, and I'm like, what's going on?
Like we have to make the styles different enough that it's in the future.
So I assume they just got bored while they're sitting in the fucking forest and they start like cutting their hair with shit. Not to mention all the guys have the great 5 o'clock shadow. It's amazing that you can keep that 5 o'clock shadow forever when you're fucking
sharp rocks, man. Sharp rocks.
You just keep on throwing yourself down a hill and eventually you'll get cut all over the fucking rocks.
That's how I got this weird thing.
So then they're sitting there. It's Keanu, Elga. And Elga's the boy, looks like Fred Savage.
Sophia,
whatever her name
Dodo.
So Keanu, so they see this huge fucking plane crashing.
One of the girls is Liv.
Liv, that's what the girl's name is, Liv. So Keanu sees this huge fucking plane crash in the ground, and he says, "Hey, we're close enough to the village, or sorry, we're far enough away from the village. We three saw it, so nobody fucking talk about anything when we get back to the village." I'm like, are you fucking telling me that you're in the middle of a forest and there's a huge fucking plane going down with no other planes around and no one else from the fucking village heard it? Like, this guy's really stupid. And that's how you figure out right from the start, all right, Keanu's the dumb one. So it's pretty good to call Keanu.
Yeah.
And then so one thing the show constantly keeps on doing is switching from tribe to tribe, I guess to show you that, hey, there's a bunch of tribes out there and whatnot. So Keanu says, hey, that plane is down. Don't tell anybody in the village. And then Elsa or Elga, whatever the fuck his name is, I just started calling him Fred Savage because he looks exactly like Fred Savage did in the Wonder Years. Fred Savage goes to look to see where this plane went down. So then they cut to the other tribe. And the other tribe, the guy running the tribe, who I came to refer to later as Samurai Elrond. Samurai Elrond comes walking into the place, and he's surrounded by a bunch of like hookers. I think they're hookers because they're all just making out with each other. And then another guy comes in, and he looks like an emo. He's a black dude wearing like high up heels, and he looks like an emo Bootsy Collins. And I'm like, look, man, if I was going to be part of a fucking tribe in this show, I wouldn't be one of the Origines or the other guys that like are the Freedom fucking Brigade, whatever they are. I'd be part of the Crows who look
the
like
BDSM
the fucking,
tribe. Yeah.
Goddamn right. I'm like, these guys are the shit because they're going to raves and they're going to orgies and it's
that,
great.
That
like,
rave
I'm
is
going to be that fucking tribe.
Something.
Right? There's like fucking, I'll get to that.
Fucking, yeah.
So then they go back and we've got to have some exposition. So apparently it's been 50 years since Black December. That was the date where everything exploded and, Judgment Day with the Terminator. So 50 days since Black December, and now it's 50 years later. You're telling me that all these different tribes of Europa got built out with all these long, drawn out fucking origin stories. Like, you've got to be
Yeah.
the High Lord of blah, blah, blah. In 50 fucking years, like, not a chance, dude, because there have to be like the build up from what's remaining of the planet.
Are you sure it was 50 years and not longer? Because it seemed like they make it seem like it was like 500 years.
I'm pretty sure it's 50 years, because then later on, when Mustachio guy from Dark and Fred Savage go to that little bar, they're talking about the guys who remember being part of the old world. So I'm pretty sure it's only 50. And I know I've heard the term 50 years said by somebody. So then they talk about the kid's father, Fred Savage's father, and Keanu's father, and Liv's father. He says, we're a forest dwelling people, and we hate technology.
I'm just going to interrupt and tell you that you are right. 2074.
See, that's right. I'm telling you, man. When I'm going to pay attention, I'll pay attention. And you'll be able to tell that by the last when the rave scene comes up, my attention peaked. I'm like, oh look, there's tits and there's a bunch of people making out. And then once that stopped, I'm like, all right, I'm bored again. I'm not going to pay attention. But so Father Fred Savage and Keanu Reeves says, hey, we're a forest dwelling people. We abandoned technology. We live by the forest.
We're still using technology though.
Well, there's fucking light bulbs all over the place. There's fucking fans and generators going. And not to mention, his right-hand man literally has a fucking robot right hand. His right hand is a robot. I'm like, you fucking people said no to technology, but it's okay if he has a goddamn robot right hand. I'm like, come on, man. Give me a break.
So they're Mennonites, really.
I guess effectively, right? But where the fuck are they going to go to these parks and shit from? You know what I mean? Like, that was a part that I'm like, all this shit. Like, if you had taken all that technology out of it and it's just, hey, we got fire in our huts, leave right-hand man to have no fucking right arm, it would have been a lot easier to buy that they were forest dwelling people who hate fucking technology.
Yeah, completely go all out with it. It wouldn't even matter. Like, yeah, you're completely right. You would buy it way better.
Yeah. Also, they're called the Crows, the bad guys.
Yeah.
They do huge rails of cocaine before they go into battle, and I'm like, this is awesome.
They have a system for it. They just put it on their nose.
They go fucking full Bane, and they just put on their face. They're like, now I will go after the Batman. And they fucking take off into battle while all the forest people are like, be sure to keep your heart true and fire the arrow straight. I'm like, fuck you. I'm going to do a shit ton of cocaine, and that's how I'm going to go into fucking battle. Fuck this being true to yourself shit.
That's how we keep our fighters.
And that's how you'll notice the Crows go in, and the Crows just fucking decimate all the Origines people. So, like, of course this is the better way to do this, man. First thing I noticed on episode 2. So we're down to episode 2. Another thing that annoys me in these movies about, okay, we've been in the forest for like 50 years and we're the Origines and blah, blah, blah. They all have perfect teeth. Everybody has gorgeous teeth. And granted,
they're actors. Come on.
But come on, man, put a little bit of goddamn. Again, I keep on going back to The Revenant, and I don't know why, just because it's the fucking first movie that came to mind. But their teeth are all fucking terrible. We've all seen movies where they wear teeth caps to look terrible. Just come on, give me more of that fucking.
You want to see a good one like that? It was on Netflix, and it's really fun to watch. The Platform.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yeah,
that they did characters really well in that, and it's one of those like the Cube type. It's great. Go watch
Platform.
The Platform.
Is fucking great. Yeah, Platform is an awesome movie to watch on. And that's a movie I did not expect it to be as good as it was, and it was fucking fantastic.
I was hoping, and I was happy. So
yeah. Also, so in episode 2, and I only got 2 lines in episode 2. It's how little I was paying attention to episode 2. Also, because nothing really fucking happens in episode 2. But Fred Savage discovers this cube. So this dude that crashed in the plane, he's a crow. He has this cube. I don't know what this cube does, but it's cube and it's important. So Fred Savage runs away, like the Crows wipe out everybody in the Origines except for Liv and Keanu and some other fucking people. But Fred Savage runs away, and Fred Savage meets up with a mustachioed man who, one of the first things he yells to Fred Savage is, you need to learn to trust me, boy. You should know I'm looking out for your best interests. Now,
it's someone we know from reviews we've done in the past.
but I'm going to say this to all young people who might be listening to this. If a mustachioed man tells you get in his van and you can trust him, do not get in that guy's fucking van, and you cannot trust that person. Now, I'm not, this
Slight
might be different
possibility.
rules in the apocalypse, but as it is right now, don't trust a mustachioed man that says, "Oh, learn to trust me, boy. Get in my truck." No, don't do
Yeah.
that.
It's a dreams come true kind of situation that goes bad real easily.
I'm gonna say it's a dream come true for a fucking mustachioed man, who we find out is named Moses later on. But so episode 3, basically all that happens in episode 2 is
Okay, can
Fred
I just
Savage.
ask you how he keeps talking like that? Hello, and how are you?
I was
and this is
watching.
the way I talk now.
I
And
wasn't
every time
watching
I talk,
original. I wasn't watching original audio. I was watching the English audio, and that's how the
Oh,
fucking voice actor
oh,
sounds.
does he?
He does. He totally sounds like, "Haha, how are you?
It's
I am
very much like
Moses."
that. Yeah, it's just
It,
like
it was.
it's like every single thing he says. It's like a
Like
theater.
he's twirling his fucking mustache every time he
Yes,
says something.
and it's weird to see him with a mustache too.
And you know what? I'm glad he doesn't have it in dark, because he certainly doesn't fucking suit a mustache. He looks like a fucking
It's
crazy
weird.
pedophile.
Yeah.
So episode 3 starts with Fred Savage and Moses in the truck. And Moses, so they're just driving, and Fred Savage knows this cube is important, and I guess, it's part of the plot. And Moses says to him, "Do you know what that cube is?" And he's like, "No." He goes, "Well, there's an ark in Atlantis, and the ark in Atlantis is only accessible in yap, 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 yap." And he's talking about some other fucking tribe called the Atlanteans, and the Atlanteans have a fucking ark, and I guess this cube does something for the ark. He leaves it so vague. He just says, "Well, there's an ark, and the Atlanteans own it, and that cube is important to it, so we got to bring it there." And I'm like, okay, what the fuck is it supposed to do? Like, I don't have a goddamn
That's the mystery. You don't know.
But it's like, who are the Atlanteans? What's the fucking ark? Why don't you give me some sort of backstory besides, oh, there's an ark and there's Atlanteans? But
guy fell from heaven, died giving him
it
the
started to
cube,
rain.
and this cube's important. Do what it says, or do what I told you before it died.
When Liv hooks up with the Freedom Brigade, whatever these guys are, they're like Team America. They're the World Police, or at least fucking Tribes of Europa Police. They capture a crow, who I keep on calling the Goths. So she captures a crow.
I think she's great, by the way.
She is, but this part is stupid in that Liv goes up to her and says, "Hey, if I break you out of here, will you take me to the crows?" And she's like, "Of course I will." She's like, "Well, how can I trust you?" She goes, "What, is my word not good enough?" And I'm thinking, you're a prisoner in fucking jail. Of course your word's not good enough, you dumb shit. But
it's a weird situation with the crows where they are nothing but their word.
But so, all right, I'll wait till the end. But if anybody who's listening is not drawing comparisons to a certain recently finished fantasy program, by the end of show number 6, you'll be, oh, I see where they were going with this show. But that's an entire other subject that I'll get to. So Liv decides she's going to break this girl out of jail, does it in a roundabout way, and she eventually fucking breaks her out of jail. The other thing that bothered me is, so the emo crow girl is in that little like Hannibal Lecter cage, right? How did she go to the bathroom? Did anybody let her out to go to the bathroom, or did she just like shit in one corner of the cage?
Let's just brush it.
Push
it out the hole.
And so then they go on over to they switch on over to Keanu, and Keanu's hanging out.
Oh, by the way, sorry, it just came to me. There's no bathrooms in sci-fi, so.
Oh yeah, sorry, forgot. Except in oh fuck, is there any?
There's certain ones that do embrace it and have fun with the idea, because the trope for sci-fi movies is don't explain the bathroom. It's Star Trek. It's like, where the heck is the bathroom?
Thinking, like,
we see showers, but I think that
maybe they just like shit in the showers and just stomp it down.
Why not? You don't stomp it down. It's ionic shower. It just automatically dissolves. It gets
there you go.
Transported somewhere.
It turns into like dust, and then just.
Yeah, why not?
All right,
it gets turned into the food that they make in the replicator.
That's even worse. Do you want ashes sprinkled on top of your
I,
mashed potatoes?
I would like a
All right,
poutine, please. No, not
poutine.
poutine. Stop it. Go on.
All right. So, fuck now, I'm totally off track. Oh,
It's our show.
Keanu goes to hang out with the crows, and he's found by a woman named Lord Vivara. And I'm like, okay, these names are getting a little fucking preposterous, but whatever. So Lord Vivara, and Lord Vivara is like 100% emo. She looks like, imagine Avril Lavigne, but like totally fucking black hair and aged up about 30 years. She's just fucking constantly raccoon eyes, black hair going straight fucking down. That's who she reminded me of. As soon as
Like
I
a
saw her, she
black
looked
hair Kate Beckinsale type thing.
kind of underworldish Kate Beckinsale. Yeah, that's a better comparison. But I didn't get the Kate Beckinsale. She seemed like she was an actress who maybe, because it seemed like even there were a lot of different languages on this show.
Yeah.
Some people speak in English, or some people speak in French, some people speak German.
And there's more Netflix shows that are embracing that, which is great.
Which is great, but like, I mean, in the actual show, there's people speaking different languages.
Yeah.
And I kind of got the vibe that she
like the space mines, whatever it was called.
Oh yeah, no, Space Sweepers.
Space Sweepers.
Yeah. But with like, I got the vibe that maybe she spoke her main language or native language was not the common one on set, because she's very stilted and she's very when you listen to her speak, she's very what's the word I'm looking for, like the Indian dude in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom spoke, right? Like Steven Spielberg was feeding him lines because the guy did phonetic. There's what I'm looking for. She didn't, and I'm not saying she was to that point,
okay,
but I almost kind of got that she had kind of a stilted, short,
I wouldn't
very
get that
single
because
sentence way of talking.
I audio dubbed, so
she just, I audio dubbed it too, but even when I was watching her speak, you'll notice she doesn't have any long, like me, long fucking run-on sentences. She would speak very well. Keanu, here's what I'm going to tell you.
I think that might be just her acting style.
Could be, but the first thing that came to mind was very stilted, and maybe she didn't know what she was saying half the time. But besides the point, so Keanu goes and hangs out with her and her team. He starts out by working like down in the fucking dredges, like mining drugs, and these drugs, they look like
another trope, by the way.
Yeah, they're called like woof or wolf or some shit, I can't remember, but they look like little Jello cubes made by Walter White, because they're the exact same fucking color of the blue in Breaking Bad, the meth that he makes, but they're little Jello cubes. So I was like, oh dude, it's fucking Walter White Jello.
I couldn't even figure out the like if they were gel or if they were
well, they're hammering fucking rock.
Like
they're hammering rock, and then they're swallowing marbles, and then like it was just all over the place. And there's this, it reeks of, hey, there was originally a lot more description and exposition, and we cut all that shit out, right? Also, this dude playing Keanu, this dude is a terrible actor. Great body, the guy's fucking muscular and looks great, but dude, he's not an actor. He is Keanu in every sense of the word. Great to look at, can't fucking act. But,
just there to look. He doesn't have that many lines, to be honest. He just stands there, and he has a good look in terms of even his emotions and such. But once he opens his mouth, it's just
So they're done. Keanu says, "Hey, how do I get a Baj?" And a Baj is, I think, a fight for your freedom. So you have a fight with another prisoner, and then whoever wins that is allowed to go free. So he's talking about this other prisoner. Hey, how do I get a Baj? And that's where that scene ends. And then Moses and Fred Savage are driving in the truck still. And then Moses turns a corner and comes up on a fucking pyramid. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, how many pyramids have you seen in the middle of like Germany? Or even if we're going to say, hey, maybe they're in what used to be Africa or fucking China or wherever they are, it's a fucking pyramid. Well, it's an honest to God fucking pyramid.
I will tell you that there have been a lot more pyramid discoveries lately, and they're just all buried. I'm
Oh, I was gonna
super
say, is this one of your
serious.
ghost shows? Should I
No,
say that it's haunted? How come
super.
they didn't have that in this fucking show?
Think of like the Mayans, like in Mexico or lower South America, right? There's like tons of pyramids down there, and you can't even see them because the jungle and overgrowth. And this, you can actually find pyramids elsewhere, but they're so like covered over, we wouldn't know that they're there until you use specific equipment that we don't even know to look there, right? It's kind of like looking for dinosaur bones.
I guess my only thing was like, okay, we've seen the Aborigines and they live in fucking Ewok huts, and then we've seen the Crows and they live in like fucking Coruscant and a huge bunch of cities, and then it
Leftover
cuts to
cities, yeah.
Moses going to his girlfriend's house and she's like a fucking pyramid. So I was like, all
Yeah,
right, what's
it's
going to be
weird.
next? A goddamn submarine? Like, and I guarantee the
What
Atlanteans
happened?
live in fucking submarines.
It's looking like it, but yeah, that's at the end.
So Lord Vivera, they cut back to her again. I can't remember why, but she reminds me of a He-Man villain. I started thinking of like, remember Evelyn from He-Man? I started thinking of like Evelyn, all these He-Man villains that probably nobody but someone as old as me knows. Like all these fucking He-Man villains. That's totally what she fucking reminded me of. So that's the end of episode 3. Oh, sorry, no. One more thing I remember from episode 3. So Fred Savage and Moses, they take it. They take the cube to this lady,
Yeah,
and
to an
Jesus Christ,
old
I'm
flame,
getting a drink.
an old flame from Mr. Mustache.
Yeah, from Mr. Mustachio, and she says it's broken. I don't know how she decides it's broken, but she decides it's broken. So she says, I've got to fix like the flux capacitor in it or whatever the fuck this thing is. And then did you notice that when she says she's going to fix it, it's like mumble rap background music starts up. And it's a whole music scene where they're like passing each other fucking tools. And Moses and Fred Savage are like tossing a ball back and forth. I have no idea why, but it's
That's
the
what I do when
worst
I work on cubes.
but it's the worst fucking mumble rapper that yeah. And I don't have anything against fucking rap music, but I was like, this is so what a fucking place for the
It's
scene,
royalty
man.
free.
Never thought of that. Yeah, that's right. This is free, so this is the best one that we can find to come in here. So that was the last thing about episode 3. I was like, what the fuck is this? This is dumb. Starting of episode 4.
So far, you're loving it. Okay.
Oh yeah, and so start of episode 4. Keanu is now Lord Vivera told him to join a group of guys. Okay, so she tells him to join this group of guys. I did not catch their name when she said it, but I thought she said the Robotics. So I started calling them the Robotics. So I said Keanu and the Robotics is the name of these guys. And they all dress like General Zod from Superman 2 back in 1980. If you've ever seen Superman 2, they're all dressed like fucking General Zod. They're wearing like a garbage bag. And then there's like a little stripe of fucking white reflective tape on some part of their body. So everybody from the Robotics looks like General Zod. They all have slick back hair. They all have to wear raccoon eyeliner because that's how the Crows look.
Yeah.
Plus, and I just remembered because I got it wrote down here. The one tribe that I haven't brought up because they're not important and they're boring is the guy like the freedom fighter guys. They're called the Crimsons. And when Liv and the Crimsons,
it's very Fallout game.
effectively, right?
Yeah.
But when Liv and the Crimsons are discussing what they're going to do, like the next thing they're going to do, they're going to try to take down the Crows or whatever. Did you notice that one guy was wearing an AC/DC shirt? And I was like, fuck, dude, that's awesome. That means AC/DC started in 1970 and people still care about them in fucking 2079.
Or
So
it's a shirt that he just
years.
found and thought looked cool.
I don't know, man. That shirt was in fucking good shape. Plus, these Crimson guys, they're like a step below. They're a step below the Crows, but a step above the Aborigines. So these guys take care of themselves. I got a feeling that guy found that shirt, and that's like a mint shirt that he only takes out for fucking important occasions, like deciding to go after the Crows. But okay, so Moses and Fred Savage, they're driving to like this place where they're going to sell the cube, and they run into this Chinese family that I imagine when they put the casting together for this, they were like, hey, just find some people, because it looks like
It doesn't matter. Just do it.
they come in on a donkey, and the donkey is very, what's the right way to put this, like Mexican laden, like the blankets that are draped across a donkey, they look very, very Mexican, very Spanish. And then I think they're a Chinese family, except the girl looks Chinese and the father speaks very Korean Mandarin. And they don't look like they're related. So I was like,
Just wait for that
Jesus
spin-off
Christ.
show on Netflix.
So I was like, this is, and I'm assuming like maybe they found each other. Oh my God, dude.
Rob's dying right now. Take a nice swig of your alcohol there. And
you know what it is? It's my Soda Stream. I love Soda Stream. This is not, we'll never get to the point where we can shill products, at least I won't. But Soda Stream is really good. It gets me off of pop and I focus on Soda Stream. But all right.
How is it better?
It's not as expensive. So I can buy like the thing of syrup, a little thing of syrup for like $7, and I'll get like, fucking 20, 30 bottles of that Soda Stream, and a bottle will last me all day instead of having like, 2 or 3 cans of pop a day. You know what I mean? So it just ends up being cheaper, at least for me.
You're gonna have to do the math and see
how much money do I save.
And once we're sponsored by Soda Stream.
By Soda Stream, right? So the Chinese girl, Chinese family that they run into, she talks about a black swarm that is coming and killing everyone. And I'm like, all right, the black swarm. Now this is when I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure whoever wrote this show just watched Game of Thrones and said, okay, it's like copying someone's homework. Just make sure you make it a little bit different. Because remember in the Game of Thrones, it was the White Walkers, right? Yeah. That were coming to destroy everything. An army of White Walkers. But in this show, it's the Black Swarm. So they literally just went from one fucking shade to the other. I was like, okay, this is getting going into a like stupid area.
Yeah, it's that show mixed with Hunger Games, mixed with other things.
And it feels like it's the copycat of 100 other shows, and it really doesn't know where it wants to be. And that was my final note of the show. But I'll real quickly go through the other notes. Keanu is forced to have sex with Lord Vivara. Now, I was a teenage boy like 400 years ago, and all it took was a change in wind direction for me to get a boner. Every teenage guy's been there.
Boom, I'm there. Boom, I'm there.
Like,
yeah.
But Keanu manages to keep hard on while 5 guys are watching him, and they are silent. They just stare and they stay silent.
I don't think that would be too difficult.
But they're silent. Lord Vivara is wearing like Freddy claws. She's got claws on her fucking hands, and she tells him, if you come before me, I'm gonna slit your throat. So 5 dudes creepily staring at him silently. She's wearing fucking Freddy gloves, and she's gonna kill him if he comes before she does. And this guy still manages to keep a hard on.
Maybe he's like you and is really into masochistic stuff.
Maybe if Vivara said, I'm a huge whore, he was like, all right, fuck, I'm down with this shit.
Were you worried at this point that it was going to end? Okay, maybe, sorry. It's like, and later in the episodes, I was thinking, oh my God, what if this ends up being his mom?
Oh, man. No, I wasn't going there.
I thought maybe they were going to broach this. Like, oh, he didn't know, you know?
Can you imagine? Then they'd be full fucking Game of Thrones, because the incest on Game of Thrones is through the fucking roof. And so
I really worry. I thought at one point she was going to say, "Oh, but just so you know, I am your mother." No.
Well, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, Keanu and the rest of the robotics, they now dress in like fishnet shirts. And they go to this rave, and it's a bisexual rave because guys are making out, girls are making out. I'm like, I'm having a ball. Now that my fucking interest sparked right up, and I'm like, this is a fucking great show. But Keanu, again, this actor, he's just like looking around and he's sad. And here's the expression when he's sad. And here's the expression when he's surprised. And here's the expression when he's called into combat. Like he's terrible. Yeah, he's a great actor to look at, I'm sure, but as an actor trying to portray emotion, he's not good at it. At least in my opinion. I'm sure in the German fucking crowds he's great.
Completely agree and want to be a part of the rave.
So then during the rave, I pointed out, or I should say I pointed out, I wrote down for myself, the Crow's standard. And this is one of those, so I said it before when I was watching Space Sweepers. Every now and then I'll say something to myself while I'm watching the show, and it'll make me laugh. I'm in the room by myself, and I'll just start giggling to myself at my joke that I made. With this one, it was like, man, these crows stand around a lot. I was like, like regular crows. And that made me laugh to myself because they stand around like regular crows and don't do anything. Also, so Fred Savage and Mo go back to meet Bootsy Collins. And Fred, he's the black dude. I started calling him Bootsy Collins because he had his big fucking boots. So Fred Savage explains to Bootsy Collins and his whole group that the nothing from the never-ending story is coming for everybody. He calls it the Black Swarm, and the way he describes it, coming. Like it's the nothing from fucking never-ending story. And then this whole part happens in about 5 minutes. Vivera says to Keanu, "Hey, kill yourself." So he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna kill myself." And then he says, "No, I'm too chicken to kill myself." Or he doesn't want to kill himself. And she goes, "You're a coward. Go back and hang out with the rest of the robotics." And then Fred Savage, he runs out. He gets the cube back from Bootsy Collins and runs out. And he sees some fucking, it looks like an astronaut. Like the cube shines out this fucking, this like video or something for him to watch.
It's like live AR.
Yeah, and it looks like it looks like an astronaut, but maybe it's an Atlantean standing there. Then he walks away, and then it turns into a gun. And then that's the end of the episode. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So Keanu can't kill himself, and then now the cube is a gun. I'm like, okay. And that's the end of episode 5. So I was like, okay, this has to go somewhere.
I love
episode 6.
How if people don't watch what we're reviewing, they're going to be so effing confused.
They're gonna think of Fred Savage having a conversation with Bootsy Collins.
I gotta watch this show because Fred Savage is in it, you know.
But you have to remember, it's Fred Savage from what he looked like in the Wonder Years. He hasn't aged. They use that de-aging makeup to make Fred Savage look super young and German. So also, oops, come on, asshole. The cube, after turning into a gun, starts talking about how much power it has. So Fred Savage is like, I guess, shooting people with it. And he goes, power 50%, power 40%. Entering power save mode, and then, out of power. And then it just turns back into the cube. I'm like, why the fuck wasn't it saying this while it was the cube before? And it was showing them the AR and fucking.
It was in standby mode. What? Some devices don't show their power outage at their power mode
until it turns into a gun. I'm like, okay, sure.
Well, that's when it's on.
And so the very last scene of the show that I did not expect is Keanu gets his badge, so he's going to fight someone else for his freedom, and they bring out his dad, and then he has to fucking kill his own dad to win his freedom. So he kills his dad.
No,
he does kill his dad.
He does not. His dad kills himself via his. He just holds it and.
Yeah, it does all stabbing, and he's like, "Be free," and remember, life is all one love, and all this nonsense. And then he drops.
He's like dying, and he's like, I'm pretty sure that's your mother." It's not what happened, but I was waiting for it.
He drops dead, and then Keanu is taken away, and that's how the show ends. So, I did not have a great time watching this show. It had one or two interesting things that happened, but the things
that's not the end.
No, that's the end of.
You must have missed an episode.
No, okay. What happens? Oh no, wait. He no, those are the bonds.
There's more.
Okay, I don't remember then. What happens
Because
after that?
what happens with the cube after that?
Is it? There's 6 episodes, right? Or is there 7 episodes? Did I miss a fucking episode?
I'm gonna go check for you.
Because I remember
Chapter 6. Yeah, it goes up to 6. Few details.
he gets the cube from Bootsy Collins.
He finds something. Did you stop it before it ended? You think it ended? It
I
was
must
like
have, because I remember
26
it ending with.
endings.
No, I remember it ended
Because you said
with Bootsy
nothing,
Collins.
absolutely nothing about
Yeah.
Liv.
Well,
Liv,
Liv decide. Oh no, I remember Liv decides that she's going to be with the Crimson, and she betrays the guy that was going to betray her, and then is going to kill his father, but decides not to kill that guy's father, and then he gets shot, and then he got shot by his own son, and then a whole bunch of fucking nonsense with the Crimsons that I wasn't really
and then
paying
the
attention
son
to.
lets her go when she
Okay,
she
remember
wants to
that.
be with the Crimson, the Crow, and she wants
Crimson
to take
Crow.
she wants to take
The Crow
Liv
back
wants to go with the Crow and then go find whatever, but she's
And
caught.
that's literally Liv's fucking storyline. Wants to go find whatever. You don't really know what the fuck she wants to do.
She wants to find her family.
But how does she know the fucking crows took them from the start, like that in the very first episode? Why wouldn't she assume that they're fucking dead? Because they kill everybody
They weren't
else.
there. Everyone they killed was still there. So that's pretty much her story. She falls in love with one of the Crimson guys. The Crimson guy lets her leave after turning on their crew.
Yep, I remember that because he kills his own father, right? He's the guy that shoots his own dad.
Yeah, it's this movie is very much one of those novels that just goes everywhere.
Or that you knew that, like, it's almost like Dune. You could only get so much into Dune. And even this new one coming up by Denis Villeneuve, there was so much to Dune that there's no fucking way you'll be able to pack it into a movie. And that's why Dune, they said they're going to do like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But as a movie, there's way, it's like when you read Game of Thrones. I don't know if you read the Game of Thrones books. I read the Game of Thrones books, and there is so fucking much in those books that they took out like 80% to make 20% of the story into that TV show because there's just so much to it.
The cube thing ends where the cube's telling them where to go.
Okay.
And he goes to this weird rocky area that overlooking a lake. And when he gets there, the cube had run completely out of energy and can't tell them where to go from there. So they're like, what the heck? And eventually he gets so fed up, he throws the cube
and it stops in midair.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
that's all I remember.
And then something comes out of the water, a big vessel or something, like a big spaceship comes out of the water, and they decide to go into it, and then that's where it cuts.
Okay. So the submarine, the Atlantean submarine, is going to take them
it's
meet Captain Nemo.
Yeah, it's the big cliffhanger.
Okay, so that was a cliffhanger. And that's how memorable it was for me. Now the way you described it, I remember him throwing it out, it stops in midair, and then that thing comes up. But that's how memorable I was totally non-invested in this show for a couple of reasons. It feels like you just explained, like there is so much more backstory to this show, and I'm sure it's based on a fucking novel. There's so much more to the novel than they could ever put into the show. So they just picked and chose the best parts from the book. Next, it feels the show wants to be a futuristic Game of Thrones, and what I mean by that is, Game of Thrones is a story it's not fucking original. There's a bunch of stories of Game of Thrones, but not specifically like Game of Thrones. But you know what I mean, like with all these warring factions and warring nations, warring tribes, warring kingdoms, whatever. It's a story fucking old as time, but it follows the same tropes that Game of Thrones does. For example, Jon Snow never thought, like going to Game of Thrones, Jon Snow never thought he'd be a king, Knight of the Watch, and he eventually ends up leading the Knights of the Watch, right? Sansa never thought that Arya never thought, she always thought she was just going to be kind of a fucking tomboy. She never thought she'd be a warrior like she becomes. So, but you see it getting set up. So you see all these people getting head off in the directions that you know they're eventually going to end up in. And that's what it feels like with this. It feels like Keanu is getting set up to be on the side of the crows and against the origines, and then there's going to be a clash between him and his brother or him and his sister.
Yeah, it's like a very slow way of brainwashing him.
Yeah, but it feels like that for every one of them. Liv,
Yeah.
same thing. And then Fred Savage, same thing. And it feels like this is already.
I think though Liv will be an outlier because she has the crow with her, and okay. I think she won't want to become a crow, and I think the crow is going to be like, I kind of don't want to be a crow anymore.
Yeah, so you can see it getting set up.
Yeah.
So when it happens, it's not that much of a surprise. I feel like the show knows where it's going, and this is one of the very few things that shows do nowadays. It knows its destination, but it's not keeping you interested while it gets there. You know what I mean? Like it knows, like, holy shit, man, we got a great ending for you, but this part is kind of boring. So as you're going through it, you're like,
it's a show that you just want to get to the next part to find out what's going on, but it's a little bit of a slog.
Yeah,
slow. Like it's like just tell me, just get there, let me know. Like cut out a bunch of the like we say the exposition. Cut out some of it, and you might get a more
snappy fucking story. Movie, like keeps going at a good fucking pace and keeps you interested. That was the problem. There were too many times where it would just slow to a crawl. Some of the setup scenes, like when they were describing what the robotics do, and they're kind of like Vivara's little fucking cheerleader squad, you know what I mean? And they worship the ground she walks on. I'm like, this is pretty neat. You know
she has got to be probably the best character in this movie.
I'd say she's number one. She's the one I'm the most interested in. And the backstory of Moses. Moses is basically the Han Solo of the story, you know, the rogue smuggler guy. His backstory would be fun to learn about. But so far, those are the only two characters. When they were on screen, I was interested. But every fucking time that Fred Savage had the screen by himself, every single time Liv and the Crimson Dawn were on,
You're completely correct, because every supporting actor is way better than the lead actors.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. The leads are just... The leads exist so the story around them can occur, and I'd much rather be watching the story around them than watching whatever those leads are doing.
So I go into Rotten Tomatoes again.
All right. If I had to guess, let me do a guess first. I would give it, me personally, I'd give it, it wasn't terrible, wasn't great. I'd go with what I believe Space Sweeper was a 65. I knew it was 65.
Okay, that's what you think it is, right?
No, that's what I would give it a 65.
Oh, that's what you give it. I would probably give it oh my gosh, that's a
how many ghosts out of 10 would you give it?
It's out of 100.
How many boos out of 100 does
it get? I'm gonna say your rating's perfect.
How many Sasquatches out of 100?
65 Sasquatches is fine by me if I can find them. But you'll be surprised to find out that the Tomato Meter critic score is 88%.
Fuck that.
That's eight ratings. And the user ratings, and that's 141 ratings, 81%. So we got an even score there. I don't think it's that much. There's no way.
You know what? Maybe it's good because if people are watching this during a pandemic, you can maybe, like, I don't know, and this is pure speculation, but you can build the stories inside of your head as to where you think all these characters do and what all these, additional side characters are. Like, you can build a bigger story in your head out of this if you wanted to. It's just the story that they're following with the show is fucking boring. You know what I mean?
I want to see the second season just to find out what happens. So they got me in that way. But I find that if I had like something more interesting to watch, I would just forget about this.
Yeah, that's for me exactly what it is. Like comparing it to something like Dark. When that first season ended, I'm like, holy shit, I've got to know
Well,
where
even
this goes, and more
every
importantly, how
episode.
this fucking ends. Yeah, I've
Every
got to
episode is
see
a
where it ends.
cliffhanger, and you're just like, okay, next episode.
Yep, and for this, nope, I didn't have that at all. I didn't give a shit. There was any of the cliffhangers that occurred, and I'm like, I don't care what happens in the next show. I don't give a shit. But I was genuinely curious to see what would happen to like Bavara. I was genuinely curious to see what happened with Moses, but yeah, everybody else could care less. I thought it was cool when I thought it was a cool like character, not even an arc, but a good character moment when Liv was considering poisoning that guy's father. I'm like, oh, this will be a cool way to see which direction her character goes in. And when she didn't do it, then what you said, I think, is right on the money. She'll be the one that maybe wins that crow over and gets her to stop being a crow and maybe be like a crow crimson type of thing. You know what I mean? So Liv is going to be the wins people over. Fred Savage is going to go do his Wonder Years thing. And then Keanu, I don't know what the fuck he's going to
Keanu's
do.
just going to be the slowly brainwashed. You know he's good in there, but he has become what he hates and doesn't care anymore because time has gone on.
Yep. He killed his father. He'll see himself as killing his father. He's gonna live with that for the rest of his life. This melancholy, fucking sullen.
So the end of the whole thing will be like Liv and Fred Savage trying to talk him out of being a crow, and it's going to be this big confrontation.
And it would be cool if it ends on a down. I love downer endings, man. It would be cool if they've got
the show
kill
is
Keanu.
is not renewed.
So they just kill him, or you know what? They have the three of them fucking knife to knife to knife, and that's how the fucking show ends. You have no idea how it ends.
Be perfect. So we've rated it. It is what it is.
Yep.
Next week,
if you have nothing better to watch, you can watch it, but don't expect to be super interested.
And if you haven't seen, what was the other show we mentioned? The one. No, yeah, go watch WandaVision for sure.
Yeah, absolutely watch WandaVision.
By the way, the last episode is 2 episodes.
Nice.
But the Dark, if you haven't watched that, that's a better one to watch. Go watch that.
Yeah. If you had to choose a German show to watch, absolutely do not watch Triumph of the Will. You can, if you want to, watch fucking and another thing, I kept on forgetting the name of this show. So every time I go downstairs to watch, my wife asks me, "What are you going to watch?" I'm like, "What's it called? Like, I don't know. I think it's like Spires of Agamemnon." I would give it every goddamn title except Tribes of Europa. I was like, that German show. Oh, that dark show. No. The I think it's Mustaches in the Future. I can't remember what it's called. I just say to her, and I go downstairs and watch it. Every time I forgot it until finally it was coming up enough, and pick up where you left off. And I'm like, all right, it's called Tribes of Europa.
Orgies of Europa. It's great.
Whores of Europa.
Oh no! Stop.
I love my whore talk. God damn it.
So next week we're going to talk about WandaVision specifically. Can I add a little bit of extra homework?
And Phil will do the majority of the talking instead of me.
Well, I think you're better, but let me go into something here. My brain doesn't work too great. Okay, and I admit that. Like I will, and storytelling isn't my
forte.
I'm okay with the witty secondary. But like when I have to tell things, I'll just confuse everyone. I confuse myself.
For me, I've got that. I'm missing that little part of your brain where it's like, okay, I've explained enough. You don't need to go any further detail. I'm missing that little part. So I go off into fucking tangents about detail that nobody cares about.
Which is great to play off of. So it works for us. All right. Okay. So the extra little bit, okay, you get to choose. I'm giving you a choice. We either watch
like Bandersnatch.
We either watch one of the big Netflix movies hitting, and it's for families to watch. You might have heard of it, called Yes Day.
Yes Day.
It's a movie about parents that hear about this Yes Day phenomenon where the parents of children have to say yes to everything the kids do just for one day. which as a parent, we're like, never gonna happen.
My house would be burned to the ground. Jesus Christ.
No way. But yeah, that's the point. Yes Day. It's a family I almost said family rom-com. That's weird.
That's Game of Thrones, a family rom-com.
The main actor is Jennifer Garner.
Oh, okay. All right, what's the other option?
The other one is, I think you're going to pick it. It's a reality show, a new one on Netflix called Marriage or Mortgage, where where a couple who's just about to get married has to choose from either they get their dream wedding or their dream house.
Oh, shit.
I don't know how they're going to. Basically, the two people, one person that's setting up the dream house and one person that's setting up the dream wedding.
Oh, so like the would-be wife is setting up one, the would-be husband set up the other?
No, they have two separate people.
Oh, okay.
So they go to them and they go, what would be your dream? What would be your dream of this? What would be your dream of this? And then they go and they set it up, and then they come to them and I'm like, we're going to do this. 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 At the end of the show, they have to choose one or the other, and they get one or the other.
But they get to see the house and get to see the wedding as it would be? Don't know, eh?
I would assume they're going to make it elaborate and be like show worthy and fun. So,
see, I don't know, because how many shows are in the season? Do you know how many shows of it do we want to watch?
I can check right now if you want.
All right. So I was gonna say, if it's 6 shows, I'm definitely on board because that means I can avoid Jennifer Garner.
Well, we can just watch one. It doesn't matter. It's going to be one of those reality shows where it's like it's going to be the same idea each time.
See, part of me is interested in this Yes Day to watch it with my kids, because I know my one kid would turn to me, my youngest son, and be like, "Holy shit!
Do it."
If you did this, they'd be like, let's set fire. Let's put everything in our house into our fire pit in the backyard. Let's fucking climb on our roof. Let's climb up to the top of our garage. It would be all sorts of shit like this for my youngest kid.
Where did it go?
Yes Day or Marriage or
Mortgage. I went too far. Spelled it incorrectly.
Marriage or Mortgage or Mortuary. Did you go too far to the mortuary part? You can have an elaborate funeral, but you have to get married first.
Stop with the audio. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. Okay.
I didn't hear anything.
So it won't tell me.
All right, well, let's
season 1 coming Wednesday.
All right, fuck it. We'll do one. Yeah, because WandaVision is going to have a lot to talk about. So instead of watching a whole movie like Yes Day, let's do something like Marriage or Mortgage. The first show of Marriage or Mortgage, just to let people know if it's something that they'd be interested in. Because WandaVision is going to take up a lot of time to talk about. There's a lot of shit.
It's what's today? Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yep.
So tomorrow it goes on Netflix, and this will probably release tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. So it'll be up there by then. So Marriage or Mortgage and WandaVision discussion on the next episode of Netflix Weekly, because WandaVision is not on Netflix.
But you can pretend it is. You could stream it to Netflix.
We're just going to focus on honorable mentions.
Exactly. It'll just be a long honorable mention, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, also don't watch Marriage or Mortgage. It sucks. The end. Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see. We might get hooked.
Right? That's true, eh? Oh my God, Phil, I'll be texting each other. Are you watching this on Marriage or Mortgage? I would totally go for that house. That's the worst part about watching RuPaul's Drag Race now. I'm texting fucking Adrian going, this Angina is such a bitch. And now I totally get why people get into fucking so catty about these shows. It's easy to understand.
My wife loves it, so.
Good. She has good taste.
Me.
But all right, so yeah. That's what I've made that joke now so many times that people look at my wife and they look at me and they kind of look at my wife again like, does he have mental problems or is it a joke?
Yes.
So all right, so this has been an episode of Netflix Weekly. I, as always, have been Rob, and with me, as always, has been.
Go check out Interspecies Wrestling. You even know?
It's backwards.
Is it backwards? I had to put the thing backwards.
I originally thought it was because it's got the fucking writing of Jesus Christ, Garbage Pail Kids. So I thought it was a garbage pail.
That's what
finisher.
that shirt's based off of. Garbage. I think. Yeah. So interspecies wrestling, check it out. It's wrestling with like costumes and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Where is it?
More so wrestling with costumes.
Where is it though?
It's an independent wrestling organization that is based in like, oh, he's gonna kill me, like Connecticut or something, and Ottawa.
All right, but do you watch, like, you go live to watch him, I'm assuming?
You can,
Okay.
not right now. But
Nice.
you can check them out on well, just look them up and you'll find where they are, and you can watch all their shows, and it's so much fun. I think I've been to one of them, and I've seen they've had special interspecies wrestling matches on different promotions as well, and they're always entertaining. So
Nice.
check them
Are
out.
there any
I'm just doing a little plug for my friend.
are there any humongously breasted women wrestling each other, possibly a different species?
Maybe it can happen. There's a
Damn for that
panda.
shit.
There's a panda that comes out and wrestles. There's a crab.
Jugsy the panda.
The
There's a
crab.
what? A crab.
You know what they're setting up for. I know we're super off topic and just and this is the credits anyway. They are like setting up for 1,000,000 block a Lego death match.
Oh shit.
Yeah, where
Nice.
they just do like all these different, like they build some
Oh,
sets and break them over people and like put Lego down like thumbtacks. Like
Don't you gotta be like fucking fighting on top of Legos? That's gonna be the worst thing in the fucking world.
it's a Lego death match. So they're trying to right now get funding and people to donate Lego, and they're saying it's not Lego because Lego actually contacted them and said stop using our word. So
What
it's
is it?
like,
What do they say? Like play
block they have a certain terminology for it, but like, there's even like a certain company online, probably an Asian company, that sent them like a bunch of blocks for it.
Nice.
Yeah, good for them. So check out interspecies wrestling. I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if there's interspecieswrestling.com,
Nice.
but you can find them on everything, so it's easy to find and worth watching their videos. Go for it.
All right, I'm gonna go look it up in incognito mode. Interspecies wrestling.
Yeah, be careful with that
jugs.
Google search. That's the
big jug panda wrestling.
wrong type of thing to search for. It goes with your other history, right?
Exactly. That's my whole library of stuff that's gonna get me fucking get arrested for looking at when I'm not an incognito.
When you don't want to be specific, you just search horror.
Exactly. Interspecies wrestling whores.
All
That'll
right.
be my team if I start interspecies wrestling. All right, goodbye, everybody. Yay! Knocked over my drink. Fucking sweet. That'll be a good thing to end on. Woo!
Oh boy, Rob, we're gonna have to come at you.
Right? That'll be a fun. This will be a fun episode to edit. You'll be able to get 15 usable minutes out of it. But fuck, I should have brought my drink. All I had was like this much of my drink left, and my fucking throat was just closing up on me.
Oh, that would be entertaining.